Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to send double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you brothers out there pushing the word and glory of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and sincerity and truth. This is brother Ariala. Quick lesson, man, just a quick mindset lesson. Um, you know, one of the things I want to talk about is that our feelings and emotions do not come over the big picture. Our feelings and emotions, how we feel, doesn't override what necessarily Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai wants and how he's going to dictate things go. And, as we go on in this truth and as things start to happen, you may feel strongly about a particular uh, issue, or you really want something to go down a certain type of way in your daily life, or something like that. But the Most High has his perfect timing, and we have to make sure that we have the mindset to be spiritual in our decision making and not try to force the course of the river, because it can just lead to destruction, and it can lead to chaos and grudgings and all types of stuff, man. So just had a few scriptures highlighting that point. Lord willing, this is edifying. This is the first scripture, James chapter 4 verse 1, classic. It says, from whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members? All right, the things that you want personally, the desires that you have in your heart and mind and your flesh, tends to bring out wars and fightings. You know what I mean? Especially like those of you that have children, you get to see this play out on a very childlike level of maybe two siblings fighting over something. And not understanding, is this person time to play with it? You know what I'm saying? No, put it down or whatever. The lust that we have in our members, our wants and desires, is where generally a lot of wars and fightings amongst us as people happen. Okay, you see it at work, you see it maybe within your relationships, and you see it within the brotherhood sometimes, right? Verse 2 says, ye lust and have not, ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain, ye fight and war, yet ye have not because ye ask not. So you scrambling, you being impatient, you're doing what you're plotting and scheming to get what you want, and it seems like every time you take a step forward, it's two steps backwards. Is because you're not doing it in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're doing it out of a sense of pride, and pride is when you're trying to make something happen out of your own ego. When we're supposed to move with confidence, meaning we know that it's with faith, it's with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that we can get certain things done. That's why it says ye ask not. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lusts. Right? And so you'll ask or you'll move, but it'll come out in a carnal way. You'll try to manipulate a brother or make the situation seem like it's this way, but it's really not. And it always reveals itself when somebody is moving with ulterior motives instead of actual charity and love. And we ought not be that way. And generally, when you act that way, what happens is that the Most High will send resistance. He'll send resistance in your job situation, your money situation, your family situation, the brotherhood. Like when you move in a sense of what you lust for, what you're trying to force yourself to get and do, when you want what you feel and what you think to lead instead of the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you move foolishly. You move with pride, and we know what the scriptures say about pride. There's so many pride scriptures. I just pulled up one in Proverbs 11:2. It says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. Okay, the integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. And so we have to remember not to allow ego and pride to dictate our behavior, especially how we deal within this ministry, because you can get caught up. And usually you don't even have to get caught up. It's just the brothers see it, and they're just like, man, you sit at the side right now. And then because you don't sense that pride, or you're not praying that pride away, then what happens is that you might get puffed up, or we might get puffed up, and that leads to a problem, right? The scriptures talk about how knowledge puffeth up. You come into this truth, you learn a few things, You feel like you're on a certain level, so you might feel like you're entitled to this or you're entitled to that. Most High might not have it be that way. He knows what you need. He knows what time you need it in. We have to have the confidence in Yahweh Shem Yahushua to know that everything is going to go according to His big picture plan for each and every one of us if we endure to the end. So we have to be careful and not letting our particular wants and desires to get ahead of the big picture that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua wants. Okay? Matthew chapter 10 verse 39 says, "He that findeth his life shall lose it, but he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it." When you ever put yourself on the back burner and you just focus on doing what you need to do, then usually things will open up for you. Usually things will come out of nowhere, so to speak, but it's really not coming out of nowhere. Really, it's this Yahweh Shem Yahushua granting you what you need or what you seek it for. Because the Most High will give you things here on this side, even in this captivity, He'll throw a blessing around. But if you're trying to force the course of the river, like the scriptures say, you'll be denied a lot of times. We'll get denied, and so we don't want to be in that mindset. We want to maintain a mindset of lowliness, a mindset of understanding that we're not entitled to any particular thing. You're not entitled to any particular thing amongst the body, or even in this daily life. We were bought for a price, like the scriptures say. So we have to maintain that mindset as we go through certain things. And if you maintain that mindset, usually things will open up. A lot of times you just gotta be quiet. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 12 says, "Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. There is no temptation taking you but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it." Okay? So the Most High is not going to give you something that you're not ready for in the spirit if He wants to keep you. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High is not going to keep you in a place of burden when He knows you can't handle it up until a certain level. That's why it's extremely important to move with faith and not fear, to move with confidence and not pride, to be lowly and not lifted up. Because it ain't up to us. It's up to Yahweh Shem Yahushua how everything is going to play out. Okay? The Most High is faithful. He knows what we need. He knows exactly the timing that it needs to come to. And this goes for the men and the women in this truth, man. You got the women that say that they follow Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but anytime they're tested or taken up into something that they don't want, a hissy fit is thrown. Getting all out of order, disrespectful. It ought not be so. It ought not be so, man. That's not the way of the righteous. That's not the way of those who are following Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? Hebrews chapter 6, verse 10 says, "For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love." Right? He is faithful. He's not unrighteous, which ye have showed towards His name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. Right? And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope in the end. Okay? That ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. And this faith and patience is the key. Especially, the endurance of patience is something that we're having to gain experience in. All of us are being tried out. All of us are being taken through a process of experiences that actually should build on our faith. As we learn to be patient through trials and tribulation, that adds to the attribute of faith. Right? But you have to, the full assurance of hope unto the end. Show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. But what happens? You have to keep in your head, in your mind, protect your neck, the helmet of salvation, that the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. All these situations that different brothers be going through, man. All the different stories I hear. This happening, that happening, this situation going like this, that, this thing over here going like that, man. We all going through, individual trials and tribulations. And the things that we want and how we want it to go have to get put on the back burner sometimes for the bigger picture. Okay? For the bigger picture. All right? But if you ask amiss, if you warring and you fighting and you murmuring through the process, the Most High is going to look at you like you got pride, man. And he don't like that spirit. He does not like that spirit. Okay? James 5:7 says, "Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient. Establish your heart, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh." So we have to be mindful of the patience that it takes to receive the fruit of the labor of love of the ministry, right? We have to be patient and go through the times when there might be weeds popping up. It might be feeling like, oh man, it's like a drought, man. There might be insects that you have to clear out. Okay? You have to constantly keep the garden. You have to constantly keep the work that you're putting in and maintain. And it can get tedious. It can become methodical. Success is boring. Very boring. Verse 9 says, grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Okay, grudge not one against another. And this is what can happen if you're lifted up in pride. If you tell, like, what about me? I'm always having to do this. This brother ain't doing that. And you lose your sense of charity because you're focused on your own lusts and desires. And you ask amiss. And really the lesson is being taught to you about patience, endurance, long suffering. And you needed that lesson most likely. But if you put off that lesson and you lift it up in pride, what happens? Wars and fightings, grudgings. Okay? We don't want to be in that spirit. Alright? Lest ye be condemned. Okay? I don't want to be condemned. I know you brothers don't want to be condemned. So we ought to take heed to this scripture. Verse 10 says, take, my brethren, the prophets who have spoken in the name of the Lord for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Right? Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. Okay? Have you gone through what Job gone through? What about Noah? What about all the other forefathers that suffered affliction and endured into the end and was blessed? Okay? We have to understand that. Okay? Because even now, as more and more stuff rises up, you're going to have these different camps, and we're seeing it, showing their hands. Disorder, backbiting, gossiping. Clearly, these guys are agents. These guys are clearly showing themselves to be agents. And I'm not saying that you don't have spies amongst Great Millstone, because you definitely do. You know, I remember when the apostles first would warn us of that, and I was kind of like, oh, you know, we might have some spies, but not now. Now that I've been in this truth for longer, 10 plus years, we definitely have spies and agents around. But then you also see groups that are just one clearly set up, and it's like, wow, making merchandise of the truth, all types of wickedness. All right. All of these things are vexing to the spirit, and you want to see justice and judgment. But we have to have long patience. We have to have long patience, man, and don't trip. All right? It said this scripture here in 1 Peter chapter 4, Verse 7, it says, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer, and above all things have fervent charity among yourselves. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins. And that charity is agape, brotherly love. It says, use hospitality one to another without grudging. This is something you see amongst the brotherhood. You know, brothers are charitable in the beginning, and then as time goes by, that sense of charity and hospitality wanes, and guys feel like they're being taken advantage of. It. I want to do my own thing. You know, I want to be by myself, energy and spirit. When maybe that's not what you need to do right now, man. Maybe the Most High's got you in this situation to keep you and hold you. Okay? And so you don't want to lose that hospitality, and you don't want to do and be hospitable with a sense of grudging. And I had this word grudging pulled up.
Strong's G 1112. Gagusmas. Gagusmas.
Gagusmas. It says to murmur, muttering, a secret debate. Right? Where's the secret debate happening? In your mind. You know. But then you got some guys that'll be hospitable, but then they're going and starting and setting forward their grudgings to other younger brothers, man, shaking up their faith and their spirit. It says a secret displeasure not openly avowed. Right? You use what we call stewing and brewing. You brewing and stewing like some hot tea, like some hot soup. And just bubbling over, and you know, if something goes down, and you know, you kind of go in a different direction. Maybe you get suspended or kicked out, and but then now you got to do a 15-part video. We're like, okay, where did this come from? It's because you had grudging in your heart. You know, a secret displeasure not openly avowed, and you lost your sense of hospitality. You lost your sense of charity and brotherly love. And you went about grumbling, grudging, murmuring, and muttering. Because you wanted what you wanted, but you didn't take it through the route of the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You took it through the route of your own flesh and your own lusts and desires, like we read about in the book of James, the 4th chapter. And it led into what? Wars and fighting. Led into wars and fightings. And everybody just, you know, you want what you want. Okay? You know, and we see it all the time, man. We see it all the time. Philippians chapter 2 verse 13, for this, the Most High which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure, do all things without murmuring and disputing. Be mindful of this spirit, you know. Be mindful of this spirit, especially as things get tighter, especially as you know, the brotherhood may require more of you. More than you expected, you know, or just the frustration of this life and just the patience of just waiting, the patience of just putting up with your situation that you in, the Most High might have you in. You know, sometimes you this life, man, you a woman, a job, it's just like you just want to explode sometimes, man. Because you can't really be a man here. You're really extremely compromised. You know. And it's not like you just gotta do what you gotta do until the kingdom. And everybody's going through it. Everybody's going through that emotion and that feeling. Men and women are going through that. Women are having to not get what they desire necessarily. You're not gonna get the time and the love and affection and all of the dainties. And the men, you know, you're not gonna get the respect and admiration. You know, and be able to move as a man like that. And so we're all having to just put off this world, man. Wait for the kingdom. Work within the ministry. And pray Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, saves us out of this thing. It's the only thing you can do. But you can't lose your sense of yourself, and so you're so focused on your own and what you want, you forget the bigger picture that Yahweh Shemel Shah is in control, and that you just gotta chill out. It says this here. I'll close with this one. Romans 14:1. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. Now, of course, we're here to hold brothers up, and we receive maybe weak in faith, but not to doubtful disputations. Not to someone that's coming with that weak shit, so to speak. That right there is going to be not received well. That word doubtful.
Strong's G 1261. Dialogismas.
Right? Now I'm gonna go to subsection B. All right. Well, I'll read the whole thing. It says the thinking of a man, deliberating with himself, a thought, inward reasoning. Purposes. It says a deliberating, questioning about what is true. Hesitation, doubting, disputing, arguing. So these faithless arguments of faithless disputation is not going to be received well. Now, if you're in this thing and you just want to do your best and you just need help to get through certain situations, absolutely. But if you're up in here and you come in with that weak sauce, what about this? What about, I don't know, what if the Most High is that? That weak shit, then nah, player. Nah. You just want what you want out of the flesh, and you ain't really, dealing with this thing with strength. And the Most High does not like timidness. There's a difference between being meek and being timid. Okay? Timidness gets people messed up, gets people injured. Somebody that's on your team that's very timid, you can't trust in certain situations. Being meek and humble is knowing that, hey, man, with Yahweh Shemel Shah, I can do this. I can't do anything on my own. Being timid is just being a scary, faithless person. Most High don't like that. He doesn't aid people in that way. Okay? So, I just want to do a quick lesson on that little mindset, man. Just be mindful that, some things that we want, how we feel, is not at the forefront of what Yahweh Shemel Shah wants. Sometimes you have to put how you feel and what you personally want on the back burner. And hey, a lot of times when you do that, you'll get what you want in due time. In due time, man. So we waiting on this kingdom, obviously, but we still got to make our way, okay? So with that, man, once again, I'm going to say, Call halal, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, brothers and sisters out there pushing the word, sincerity, truth.